out of here. My automatic water change rack is almost ready to start some bettafish breeding projects. I'm this close. I'll finish this project today and finally be able to add some fish. Here's what I did in the previous videos on this rack. This is a series. I assembled it and I decided it needed to be pink because I had to make it cute. The plywood and the plumbing were next. That was a bit more complicated. Check out my links in the description if you want to go see more details about those. I finally need to finish it. This has been quite the lengthy project, but nothing really gets done fast around here for reasons. Too little preschool and elementary school aged reasons. There's only one thing missing from this entire project that's preventing me from just starting with my fish projects. Just one thing, and that is filtration. All of these tanks still need filtration. Instead of going out and buying 14 individual filters for this tank, which would be really costly and also take up so much outlet space, the best way to get this done is to use one single air pump. This little beauty is what I used in my last fish room. This air pump will then power 14 different sponge filters. So it's pretty cool. You just need one piece of equipment and a bunch of cheap sponge filters and you can filter a massive rack of tanks like this. It's the most cost-effective option. So how exactly do I set up 14 different sponge filters to be ran by one air pump? Well, I'm gonna show you that today with a whole bunch of this. This is 1/2" PVC and this is what I like to use. I'm gonna be making a loop of PVC. I'll be tapping into that loop and that's where I connect my air line for each individual sponge filter. First, I measured out the dimensions of the loop that I'm gonna make. I highly recommend making yourself a little doodle like this. Here's my loop. Because this is like a pressurized application, you have to make sure that your PVC is really well glued. In this case, you use a primer and a cement. It's really fumey though. I'm gonna actually go outside and glue this together. So here's my loop. This is actually gonna go kind of like this, like so, but on the back side of the rack. So before I put it back there and I get it into place and I zip tie it where I want it, I need to do something. One thing about PVC, unfortunately, is that it's super ugly. Look, I have primer and glue. PVC has writing and barcodes all over it and scuff marks, and it's just not the prettiest thing in the world. And I'm trying to put effort into making my beautiful little dream space look nice, so I'm gonna fix this problem with acetone. All you need are some rubber gloves and some paper towels and acetone, and you can just clean the surface of the PVC and get off all of those marks. Acetone's nasty. You wanna do this outside where there's lots of ventilation, or you wanna wear a mask or something. I'm just gonna go outside and clean up my PVC. Okay, I'm still unsatisfied with just the bare PVC look, especially because I can still see purple primer. Not a fan. I'm gonna spray paint it white. There we go, it's just about done. I spray painted it. You probably can't even tell, but whatever. I've mounted it just temporarily to the front of the rack. It's gonna be going on the back because now I'm gonna take a Sharpie and I'm gonna mark where I want my air taps to be. Now that my PVC is ready, I can actually install my taps. See this little stainless steel valve here? This is what controls my airflow. Basically, I'm gonna drill a little pilot hole in the PVC using a very specific size drill bit. Then I'll take that drill bit out and I'll put the tap in instead. Then on a really gentle speed, you just ever so slightly drill it into place. This was such a struggle, so I didn't film it, but back here behind the rack, I set it up. I mounted it into place with zip ties. I have zip ties that have a little screw hole on them, which makes it kind of convenient to be able to screw into places. Now back behind the rack, I have my PVC loop. I have those taps attached properly. Everything's all glued and painted and perfect. Now I do the pump. First, I had to set up a little shelf for the pump to sit on right at the height where I wanted it. Here's my air pump on my nice finished little shelf up here on the wall. But I have a problem. The problem is that this tan and tannish green aren't very cute. Cute pink rack. I have nice pretty blues, clean whites, and now I have this tannish green pump. I think I might have to fix that. Doesn't that just look way better? Totally worth it. Now this rack needs sponge filters, a whole bunch of them. I got a couple boxes worth from Aquarium Co-op. I got medium-sized ones for my 20 gallons and also small-sized ones for the 10-gallon tanks.
Wow! What's inside?
I'll have links for everything I'm using below. I got a little bit more than just sponge filters. Also, I have some more airline tubing. I also have a bunch of air stones. These are the Never Clog ones that you don't need to replace, and you can adjust the bubble size. You can tighten them down like this for smaller bubbles. I'll attach the airline to the air stone. I'm gonna take the sponge filter and just pop off the top. This is where I'm attaching the airline, like so. And I'll reattach the top to the sponge filter. I cut the airline tubing where I wanted it. Just pop the little airlift tube back on.
You do the push thing, and then I'll do the water thing.
Okay, put the sponge filter in and attach it. I'll open my little valve so there's some airflow about halfway open. Now I just have to repeat that 14 times. They're set up. The sponge filters look great. I can't wait to fill it up and Well, I think it's finally ready to fill. In the last video on this rack, I went over all the plumbing, and I also went over my automatic water change electronic valve that I'm using. This is my main control valve where I can set the temperature and a timer. I'll just turn it on and turn some valves and wait for my tanks to fill. The rack's filled. I did one last leak test. There's no leaks anywhere. You might be wondering where these really cool slider lids are from. These are DIY lids. I have a video on these, which I'll link here and down below if you're interested, because these have held up. I'm gonna turn on the air pump. Oh, it's so powerful. I better turn them down. I'm beyond thrilled that everything's working out. It's getting kind of late. You could probably tell by my Sasquatch jammies. I'm not going to bed till this is done though. I'm gonna dose all of these tanks with my usual bacteria starter, which is Brightwell Florinbacter and also the bacteria food, but I have a choice to make. Do I want to do like a fish and creature safe cycling method by using the Florinbacter and the food? Or they also have one that's meant for fishless cycling, which is not fish safe. No, I'm gonna do the safe one and not the quick cycle because I wanna get some creatures in these tanks as fast as possible. I'm happy with this. I'll probably be adding some life to the tank rack pretty soon. I'll be dosing my bacteria and my bacteria food daily for a couple weeks until I'm satisfied that my cycles are going. Most likely, I'll be kind of staring at this and troubleshooting it and making sure that there aren't any issues before I really start breeding my fish. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate your views, your support, your just being enthusiastic about the things that I'm enthusiastic about. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Thanks to all my patrons. You guys really help me buy my supplies. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.